Galatians chapter number 2, verse number 1. We have concluded our work in the first chapter of the book of Galatians. We continue on now, plan to expound with the Lord's help all the way through the book of Galatians in this current series on the Bright Spot Hour. I assume that it will take most of the year to go all the way through it, and then I hope by the end of our study through the book of Galatians to have a manuscript prepared, and we can get that to the publisher and get some of these great truths into print in another commentary. Verse number 1. Then 14 years after, I went up again to Jerusalem with Barnabas, and took Titus with me also. And I went up by revelation, and communicated unto them that gospel which I preached among the Gentiles, but privately to them which were of reputation, lest by any means I should run, or had run, in vain. But neither Titus, who was with me, being a Greek, was compelled to be circumcised, and that because of false brethren unawares brought in, who came in privately to spy out our liberty, which we have in Christ Jesus, that they might bring us into bondage, to whom we gave place by subjection, no, not for an hour, that the truth of the gospel might continue with you. But of these who seem to be somewhat, parenthesis, whatsoever they were, it maketh no matter to me, God accepteth no man's person, parenthesis. For they who seem to be somewhat, had somewhat in conference, added nothing to me. The contrariwise, when they saw that the gospel of the uncircumcision was committed unto me, as the gospel of the circumcision was unto Peter. For he that wrought, parenthesis, for he that wrought effectually in Peter to the apostleship of the circumcision, the same was mighty in me toward the Gentiles, parenthesis. And when James, Cephas, and John, who seemed to be pillars, perceived the grace that was given unto me, they gave to me and Barnabas the right hands of fellowship, that we should go unto the heathen, but they unto the circumcision. Now I'm going to stop reading there by the grace of God on the program today. Then 14 years after, and this time period would have to be 14 years after Paul's conversion on the Damascus Road. Now remember, we had another a period of time that was dealt with in Galatians chapter number 1, where it was a 3-year period when Paul went up to Jerusalem to meet with Peter and stayed with him 15 days. While he was there, he spent some time with James, the Lord's brother, but he saw none of the other disciples, just Peter and James, and that was after 3 years. So again, our time would be dated from the Damascus Road experience, Paul's conversion on the Damascus Road, from then, including the time in Arabia, and then coming back to Antioch in Syria, and then going up to the city of Jerusalem to spend 15 days with Peter, is a 3-year period of time from the Damascus Road experience over to Paul going up to Jerusalem. Now we have another 11 years that have passed. Then 14 years after what? After his conversion. We have 3 of those years accounted for in chapter number 1. So we're now looking at a period of 11 years in Paul's life and ministry. This time period is going to carry us from somewhere around a period of time in AD 40 to AD 44 or 45, a period of 11 years that is occupied in this time period.